Oh my god, why does my hair look like a rat? Gotta take... Okay, I think we're ready. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I have been wanting to do this Q&A for a little while now because I've been getting a lot of questions on my Instagram about why I'm not posting as much, where I've been, and just basically what I'm up to, and just a couple other questions. So yeah, since I am recording on my phone, I decided to just write them down here. So let's just get into it. First question is, what are you going for in college and what is your major? I actually got quite a bit of questions about school, what I'm doing, and all of that stuff. So I think I'm just gonna answer all of it in one. So basically, I'm just gonna start from the beginning. My first year of college, I went to U of O in Eugene and I loved it. I lived in the dorms, I met a lot of great people, and it was just really fun. But it is expensive to live on campus, and just housing in general is just really expensive, especially for a college student to be able to afford that. So I was looking into other places that were closer to home, and I found OSU. I mean, I knew about OSU and I got into that place as well. I decided, since it was closer to home, to transfer to OSU. So now I've been at OSU for, it's gonna be 2 years this year, and it is a very different vibe than U of O and Eugene in general, but it's still a great school. And at U of O, I was a business major. I really wasn't sure about what I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted to like own my own business or something at that point in my life. And then I transferred and I was like, okay, I'm gonna become an orthodontist. Major when I transferred over to OSU was biohealth science with my option in pre-dental, and I was so determined that was what I was gonna do and no one was gonna stop me. Keep in mind, I'm sure a lot of you who are going to college and who are pre-med, pre-dental, whatever it is, anything in that field, that obviously requires a lot of science classes, and those are the best, especially chemistry. And I was just struggling. I was struggling hard. I would go to tutoring. It wasn't fun. And then finally my last, I think it was winter term actually, winter term, I took a class that they recommended for dental students to see if like this is actually something you wanted to do. And in my mind I was like, well, I already know this is what I want to do, but I thought I would take it, and it was like a dental 101 class, and it talked about what it takes to get into dental school and what it would be like to be a graduate in dental school and all of that stuff. And I took it, and you guys, that class, I would come home and I would have so much anxiety, and it was just so stressful. There would be times where like I just wanted to drop out, or like I thought it was too much. I didn't think I could do it. I had a lot of like breakdowns. And honestly, that's gonna happen in college. College is not easy, but it's very doable if it's something that you want to do and you're passionate about. You can totally do it and get through it. I had to realize that the reason why I was going into that field and I said I was going to do what I wanted to do was because honestly a lot of people around me told me like, oh my gosh, like you'd be great at that, like you could totally do that, I could see you doing that. And when people like tell you this type of things, like it makes you feel good and you're like, oh yeah, like you're totally right, I can do that. And it was just nice having that support from others. But I had to realize that I felt like I was continuing that because I thought it would make everyone around me happy. And honestly, I've met a lot of people in college who have done that and who are not happy now, and it just sucks because you spend all this money and this time into something that you know in the back of your mind you're not going to be happy doing in the future, which is sad. So I was like, you know what, no, it's my future. If you guys are going to school, like remember it is your future. And I know that probably sounds really dumb and you should just already know that, but sometimes it's hard. It's really hard when, you know, you have people saying like, this is what you should be doing, like whether it has to do with how much money you're gonna be making, or if like you have that title, whatever it was. And I think that was the biggest thing. I was gonna get my PhD, everything was gonna be good. I was first generation student, and so everyone was just super excited. And I was excited too, but I just knew that's not what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So I was like, I'm changing what I want to do. And yeah, I had a conversation with my parents to let them know, and it was kind of hard on both ends, but I knew that they loved me and they just wanted me to go to school. They wanted me to go to school, they wanted me to finish and whatever it was, because they knew that I could do it and they just wanted the best for me. So I kind of had different options. I looked into maybe physical therapy because I was a dancer and I did injure my back, and I had a lot of back pain, and I thought it'd be so cool to like help people out who do have injuries or who just need that care. And so I just found it really interesting, and I actually love human anatomy and just learning about the body, so I thought maybe I should look into that. So I took like an intro to kinesiology class. That's what I had major in, and again, it just really wasn't something that I think I wanted to do. So I was like, Esme, what do you like to do? What is it that you care about, that you can see yourself doing? And I thought about it, like, I honestly never thought as myself being a teacher. Like, I was just like, I'm not gonna be a teacher, like that's just not in the books for me. But I realized when I looked back, I loved teaching. Like, whatever it was, like it didn't have to be about school or whatever. Like I mentioned, I was a dancer and I helped a lot with the younger kids, and I absolutely loved it. It made me feel good, and I loved, being that role model for them, and it was just a great feeling. And I was like, you know what, let me just look into teaching. And honestly, I thought about it and I was like, I could totally see myself doing this. And that's what I'm going for right now. I changed my major to HDFS, which at OSU is Human Development and Family Sciences. Right now my focus is on child development, because like I said, I really want to specialize in children, but I don't know, I kind of want to do the general option. I'm still thinking about it, but right now I am in the child development option, and that is because if I teach, I do want to teach like kindergarten and elementary, and I don't know, that's just something that I see myself doing. I know that is completely different than going to go get your PhD and being an orthodontist and whatnot, and I've had so many people tell me like, oh my god, you're not going to be happy, they don't even make much, and why do you want to work with kids, and just all this stuff. But at the end of the day, like, I know what I'm getting myself into, and all those people who are going to school to be teachers know what they're getting themselves into as well. So if we know what our future is going to look like with being a teacher and we're still going to do it, then that's because we love to do it. I think that it takes a certain type of person to be a teacher and to love it and to just be really happy with it. And honestly, I can see myself being happy with that, and I'm just super excited. This term has by far been the best term out of all my years in college. Literally have all A's and 1 B, and I'm so proud of myself, and I honestly believe that's because I love what I'm doing now. I love what I'm learning about, and I'm just super happy. So it is my 3rd year of college, so I have about a year left and maybe like a term or 2, and that's because I did change my major, so a lot of the classes that I was taking before don't really transfer into my HDFS major now, which is totally fine. I'm taking classes this summer, so yeah. That was a little long, so let's just move on to the next question. Okay, this question is one that I've been wanting to avoid for a while because I didn't really know how I wanted to go about it and talk about it, but this is the most asked question, and it was, are you still doing Beachbody? Are you a coach for Beachbody? Like, why aren't you posting anymore? Like, what happened? basically, I'm gonna just get to it. I am not a coach for Beachbody anymore. It just wasn't my thing, and I think that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. With that being said, I am still working on myself. I do the workouts. I love the workouts. But it just was something that was becoming not fun for me anymore. And it just became something that I didn't want to do. I know a lot of people now that are coaches for Beachbody and they love it and they're doing great, and you know, they're happy, and I'm happy for them and that it's something that they want to do. But I personally think that it's okay if you don't want to do it. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. It just got to a point where I felt like I was promoting something, and if you didn't want to be a part of it, then that meant you didn't want to work on yourself, or you were making up excuses, and I just didn't like that. It was becoming so repetitive, and to me, just because I'm not a Beachbody coach doesn't mean I'm making excuses for why I'm not working on myself, because I am. I still am. Like, I'm not going around, you know, coaching, but I'm still doing my workouts. I think the reason why I stopped posting was because it was associated with coaching, so I kind of just stopped overall. But you guys are really sweet, and were supporting me and saying that I motivated some of you guys, and I just wanted to say thank you, because that motivates me to keep going on the days where I feel like I should just give up. And the whole like no excuses thing, I feel like you aren't making excuses. I feel like as people, we make time for things that we want to do in our lives. And just because one of those things, and just because one of those things is not coaching doesn't mean you're making excuses. It just means that you much rather spend time on homework, going to work, hanging out with your friends, hanging out with your family, whatever it might be. So yeah, that's just how I feel about it. But again, the reason why I didn't want to talk about it was because I didn't want to make it seem like I'm talking bad about Beachbody, because that's not what I want to do. There's still girls that I used to coach with that I still talk to, and they're super sweet and super nice, and it motivates me to see them on their stories every day. So yeah, sorry, my phone was about to die. But the next question is, what do you think is most important in a relationship to keep going strong? Personally, I believe that communication is honestly so important, because I've been in situations where we don't communicate, and as soon as like we figure out what the root of, you know, the argument is about, or why someone's upset, then we're like, okay, that's what it is, that's the problem, okay, let's figure out how to fix it. And so I honestly feel like a lot of arguments and things start because there's that miscommunication. So communication, I definitely do think, is key in a relationship, whether that's with your significant other or just your friends, you know, family. I just think it's the key in any relationship. Another one would have to be trust. I mean, how can you have people in your life that you don't trust? I feel like it's really hard, and it will add stress in your life, if that makes sense, because if you have someone around you where it's just they're, you know, you just don't trust them with anything, and they're there in your life, it's not going to be fun in the long run when something happens that you find out that they're lying about. So trust is definitely a big one. And then the other one I would have to say is self-love. And this is something that I'm really trying to work on now, and I'm 20. But I think that is so important. And you're probably thinking, like, how does that tie into relationships? Well, I personally do believe that, I know it sounds so cliche and so cheesy, but I do believe that you actually have to love yourself, like your whole self, to be able to give that to your significant other, your parents, your siblings, your friends. Because if you don't full-heartedly love yourself, who you are, and what you're doing in life, you're gonna start blaming other people as to why you're not happy. I mean, I did that for a while. I see people around me do that, and it sucks because it really does, I think, make or break a relationship. So just take time for yourself. If that means that you can't be with someone or you just need to be by yourself for a bit, then take that time. There should be nothing wrong with that. Take the time to learn about what is not making you happy with yourself. If that is something that you're doing and it's not making you happy, you have the power to change that. So change that. Or if you have some insecurities that you need to work on that are becoming just really toxic for yourself and that's affecting the other people around you, then work on it. I know that there's always going to be things that we don't like about ourselves, but I feel like we can definitely work on that and learn to love those insecurities a little bit day by day. So yeah, those are the 3 things I think you need to have in a relationship to keep it strong or to keep it going. So another question that I got that I thought was really interesting was, how do you deal with fake friends? So I'm guessing that this person is probably going through a situation. My opinion is, if you have people in your life that you're friends with and they're talking really badly about the people that they say that they're friends with. I mean, I had a situation where I had this friend and she talked really bad about these people that she would hang out with like the very next second or the very next day, and I was just so confused. I was like, why? And I mean, I get it. You have, you know, arguments, fights with your friends, and you'll say things that you don't mean, whatever. Like, I think that's a totally different thing. What I'm talking about is when they do it constantly, where it becomes a thing that just becomes really negative. I would say that to just, you know, cut that relationship out of your life. And I know if that relationship is with like a really good friend or someone that you just really care about, it's probably going to be really hard to do that, but you don't need that extra negativity in your life. And then the last question that I'm going to answer for today's video is going to be, where do you see yourself in 5 years? So I really liked this question because I'm the type of person that really likes to think and look into the future a lot, which honestly could be really, really bad. But I've been trying to work on that, because when I would do that, I would be so disappointed, because there's so much that happens within a short amount of time and you just never know what the future holds for you. So I decided to kind of, you know, step back. But in 5 years, I'm 20, so I'll be 25. I'm gonna be 21, so I'll be 26. You know what I mean. But I really hope to be done with school by then. I hope that I'm like a year or 2 into teaching. I hope to see myself traveling. I hope to see myself just genuinely being at peace with myself and everyone around me, and just really to be living my best life. So yeah, that's kind of where I see myself. That was a handful to talk about, but I really liked that Q&A. I really loved the questions that you guys asked. I did not ask a lot of the questions, but if I did, this video would be super, super long. So I just asked the questions that you guys really wanted to know about, and then some that I thought were just really interesting and I liked. But if you guys want another one of these or just a different video, whatever you guys want, I want to do. So just let me know. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, then give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to stay for more. And that is all I have for today. Don't forget that you guys are seriously so awesome, and to have a fantastic day.